In this tutorial, we're going to look at a very simple technique that you can use to create the effect of grass blowing in the wind, even when you don't have source models that include any animation. To illustrate this, I'll load 3 models from the 3D Garden, Field Plants and Grasses collection. Of course you can use any models, but for this technique you will want to use individual plants rather than clumps of grass, since we'll basically be animating their rotation. With the 3 models loaded, I'll change the probability a bit so that the large plants don't crowd out the smaller ones. I'll also play with the scale a little bit so that the grass models are all a similar size. Neither of these steps are necessary, but I'm just art directing the final look a little bit, and it's a good excuse to demonstrate that you can easily change the size of the source objects as well as the probability parametrically from directly inside Forest Pack. With that done, let's add some random scale and rotation. Go to the Transform rollout and enable Scale Randomization, but leave it at its default settings. Now enable Rotation Randomization. We're going to animate these properties to create the wind animation. Leave the values at their defaults, but increase the range of the Y values. The Y values will represent the minimum and the maximum angles that the grass will use for its wind animation. With that done, enable Map Control for the Y-axis. To enable the wind animation, we're going to control the value using an animated noise map. So we'll click on the map slot and add a standard noise map. Next, open the material editor and create an instance of the noise map. Move the playhead to the end of the animation and enable auto key. I'm also going to ensure that the default curve type is set to linear so that we don't create an ease in and ease out effect for the wind at the start and the end of the timeline. Now, increase the phase property. The larger the number you use here, the faster the grass will animate. In a 400 frame animation, I'm going to use a phase value of 10. Let's preview it by pressing play. The grass will start animating in the viewport. So now we can set the size of the noise. Larger values will give you the appearance of gusts moving across the landscape. Smaller values will make plants look as though they're moving chaotically, which is maybe less desirable in this case. In my scene, I'm going to use a value of 300, but feel free to experiment with this property, as well as the noise type, which will give you some different effects. I'm using fractal in this example. Finally, you can control the ease in and the ease out of the wind effect by enabling the color map options. By changing the start and the end points to Bezier corners, you can control the acceleration and the deceleration of the bending grass effect parametrically to create some interesting different effects. And we're done, so now let's render. So that I could create a quick preview, I used Chaos Vantage. To do that, you'd click this button to initiate a live link, and then when it's running, click the bottom button here to render an animation that's synced to 3ds Max. Just choose your camera, pick a frame range, set a resolution, and then enable any options such as auto exposure, denoising, motion blur, and reduce flickering, and then set a file location, a file type, and click Start. And then here's the final animation, rendered on an old 1080 Ti card. We hope you found this tip useful. Stay tuned for more Forest Pack tips and complete courses coming soon.